It was a stomach-churning weekend for Oregon fans. Monday, they could breathe easy. Head coach Chip Kelly pulling his name out of consideration for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers job. Kelly saying he has unfinished business with the Ducks. Kelly, who is 34.
Hello, Fish Duck friends. Kurt here from Keeerrrttt.com. Welcome to our weekly video log, updating all of you on everything that's taking place here at Keeerrrttt.com and in the world of Oregon sports. So was there anything of interest that took place this past week in Oregon sports? Maybe. Oh yeah, for about 12 very tense hours on Twitter, if you were around on Sunday just watching the NFL playoffs, all focus sharply veered off to the side, away from the games on TV, with the rumors spreading like raging wildfires that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had hired Chip Kelly as their next coach. Me, I'm naturally skeptical of any news that's breaking online, so I approach it with a calm, cool attitude. And you know, we've seen so many rumors float that turn out to be just total lies that people just brought up. In fact, I know a few people that actually started a few just for the hell of it that turned into national headlines, and for them I applauded and said, great job, good sir. That's awesome and hilarious that anyone would actually believe that. You just put a little bit of plausibility, a little bit of potential truth in there, and people will believe almost anything in this day and age. Still, we have seen some random rumors that started in the media that picks up some run and that have actually proved to be true. Darren Thomas did leave for the NFL. But still, you know, Duck fans, apparently, we believe everything that's ever been said on the internet because everyone overreacted without any official statement coming out from the Kaz Center or Chip Kelly or from the Tampa Bay Bucks until much later in the evening. And the news kept coming so quick, you know, I kept having to tell people, calm down, relax, wait for it to play out before you start overreacting. You know, a lot of Oregon fans said some really vile, nasty, horrible things about Chip Kelly. Don't think that I've forgotten. You know who you are. Now, I was getting a lot of questions on Sunday as the Chip Kelly news was breaking of what's going to happen to Keeerrrttt.com. Is this website going to shut down? You won't have anything to cover anymore. National media pundits were actually posting stuff about us, saying about how Charles was going to have a very dark night of the soul, which we thought was hilarious. You know, we're not shutting down. Chip Kelly, as of now, is still Oregon's coach. Our site has always been about schematic video analysis, and that would continue to be the primary focus of Keeerrrttt.com. And that doesn't matter if it's schematic analysis of the spread offense, or the pro set, or the power eye, or the air raid, or whatever scheme the Oregon Ducks chose to implement. Because at Fish Duck, we do everything about making content that is both educational and entertaining. It's through our shared knowledge of sports that we can, you know, better appreciate athletics. That's what we're about. We're about the machinery, not the person behind the machinery manipulating. Well, Charles and I felt like we had to put out an official statement on the matter because so many people were contacting us about it, so we did. We had a special newsletter that went out. If you're on our mailing list, you saw it. Also, it appeared as a Fish Wrap article Monday morning. You know, with success breeds attention. And what I had to remind people of was the fact that, you know, Tampa Bay was not the first team that has approached Chip Kelly about being their head coach. And they won't be the last. And it's really important that we fully appreciate the time that we have now, this great time with Oregon, and not become complacent, because very quickly Chip Kelly could leave and we may have a different coach come in. But you know, whether it's Chip Kelly at the helm or someone else, there was Oregon Athletics before Chip Kelly, there will be Oregon Athletics after Chip Kelly. As an Oregon fan, appreciate the program, not the individual. Players come and go, coaches will come and go. We've been very lucky. Oregon and Army are the only two teams in the country that have not had a single coaching change in the last 3 years. Coaching change is a fact of life associated with college athletics, and we just need to appreciate the Chip Kelly era for as long as we get to experience it. That being said, I hope Chip stays in Eugene for a very long time to come. Now, in other Duck news, don't look now, folks, but Dana Altman has worked yet another miracle. 2 years, 2 miracles. The Oregon Ducks basketball team, despite more attrition this year, are actually tied for first place in the Pac-12 right now after sweeping the Arizona schools on their courts and then beating both LA schools in the mat. Thanks to a career night by E.J. Singler versus UCLA. He hit 26 points in total against UCLA. Just a phenomenal effort. Up next is the Civil War. Oregon State is coming to town on Sunday for the 336th game between the two schools. Yeah, that's the most games played in a series between any two schools in the country. Civil War is the 7th oldest series in football. It's the oldest, or at least most played series in basketball. To give you an idea how long this goes back, this is where it started. This is where games were initially being played, the old gym. Then it upgraded here. Then for a long time, here. And now, here. As for FishDuck.com, Charles and I appeared on the 3-Point Stance podcast last week. The audio for it is archived on our site if you want to check out the 1-hour broadcast. We spoke a lot about Oregon sports and FishDuck.com. We also now have a weekly video podcast, the FishDuck One-on-One, along with this weekly vlog series. Last week was a conversation with former Oregon wide receiver and track star Patrick Johnson, who won a Super Bowl with the Ravens, and he's now back in Eugene right now at age 35 training for the Olympic trials. Best of luck to him in competing for his Olympic dreams. This week, I spoke with massive Duck fan and Fish Duck contributor Jared Sawyer. We didn't touch on Chip's psych move to the NFL and back, but we just talked a lot about enjoying this magical time of Oregon football. So check it out. Fish Duck got some national media attention online Sunday when news of the whole Chip possibly leaving broke. We got lots of referrals from prolific sports figures telling fans to check out FishDuck.com to find out about Chip's system. It was high praise indeed, and we sincerely appreciate all who have referred others to our site. That's really the best compliment you can give, is telling others that they too should check out FishDuck.com. We've also added a new writer, Keeerrrttt. Now, if you're on the various Duck sites, you may know him from some of his interesting posts on eDuck and DSA and other places, and he's now going to be providing articles soon on FishDuck, lampooning various topics, bringing a lighter side of sports. Look for his first article next Wednesday, which, oh, by the way, is signing day. We had some fantastic articles this past week that you should really be checking out on FishDuck.com if you missed them. We had an interview with former Oregon running back turned barbecue master Dino Filia, and a nice summary of the weekend recruiting from Mark Flores. Steve Mayer talked about recruiting rankings, while Josh White recapped the crazy roller coaster ride that was the weekend in Duck sports. Jared Young covered basketball news. And David Mello sat down with Danny O'Neill to go over some great memories of his playing days and beyond. And the newest FishDuck video was also unveiled Tuesday night. Now, going forward, every Tuesday, there will always be a new FishDuck video. A new FishDuck podcast will always come out on Thursdays, and this video I'll usually put out on the weekends as soon as I get them finished. Thank you for following FishDuck.com. Be sure to check out all of our social media sites as well. We have them listed on our front page. Those will send you directly to our Twitter feed, our Facebook page, and all the other sites. Now, with signing day just around the corner, the other thing that I need to remind people about, the thing that's really been bothering me this week, and other people have jumped on board with it too, particularly the guys over at Addicted to Quack, if you do use social media like Twitter or Facebook, do not communicate with kids being recruited by Oregon. We can't stress this enough. It's just not cool to be talking with recruits. You can follow them if you want to know what they're saying, but do not send messages to them. If you have ever donated to the University of Oregon, and that includes the Duck Athletic Fund for tickets, or if you're a season ticket holder, you are considered a booster by the NCAA, and you having any communication with a recruit is considered an NCAA rules violation. So be smart, people. Let the coaches do their job. They're handling recruiting just fine. Do you honestly think that some kid that's considering Oregon will decide to pick the Ducks rather than some other school because you individually sent them a tweet? I mean, come on, no, obviously. But you could sour them on coming here, and in the process get the school in trouble with the NCAA. It's not smart. It doesn't make any sense. Just don't do it. Be smart about it. Look, I like following recruiting news as much as the next fan, but don't talk to recruits. Once they've signed a letter of intent, then talk to them, if you want to. Though, unless you're a mentor or something, it's still kind of creepy to do so. At least I think so. But while somebody is being recruited, it's just not cool. Okay? Don't do it. You shouldn't have any interaction with them whatsoever. Let the coaches do their job. And now, my random tweet of the week.
Hey, will you shut up?
Thank you.
For my music recommendation, I want to talk about a current artist that throws back to a bygone era. Now, the last few years, there's emerged a real revitalization of 1960s style soul music. The classic 60s sound of artists trying to capture that Motown, Stax, Atlantic, or Phil Spector vibe that we all grew up adoring. No group has personified this better than the Dap Kings. They're a group of musicians behind Daptone Records label that has served as the backing band for many artists that harken back to those classic soul sounds. They're a kind of a reinvention of like the old Muscle Shoals backing band that just played on everyone's records. They emerged initially as the backing band for Amy Winehouse, and her style really revitalized this whole movement that's now taking place with a bunch of different artists that have touched back on 60s style soul music. Now, the Dap Kings have worked with a slew of artists, but Daptone Records in particular has built its own roster of artists, and there's one in particular I'd like to focus on: Charles Bradley. Now, Charles Bradley is a fascinating tale. He's now in his 60s, and it's only now that he's really seen the benefits of his hard luck life that includes growing up in poverty in Brooklyn, witnessing his brother being killed at a young age, hitchhiking cross-country, spending time in Alaska before returning to New York, and after a failed attempt at a music career, spending years as a James Brown impersonator at clubs and working as a dishwasher during the day. However, his James Brown impersonation act was so good, many said that he actually did James Brown better than James Brown, and a member of the Dap Kings randomly saw him perform once and signed him to the label to be an original artist. Now, after a year of writing, Charles Bradley's debut album was released in February of last year, titled No Time for Dreaming. It's a straight throwback to classic 60s soul sung with such heartfelt emotion and honesty that can only come from 60 years of living a life of struggle and pain. He spent the past year touring with fellow Daptone Records artist Sharon Jones, and the two of them together are really presenting the most authentic 60s soul sounds since the 1960s. So if you love old soul music, Charles Bradley's album is a must-buy. Check it out. So that is it for me this week. Thank you for watching. And hey, Chip Kelly is still our head coach. That's pretty awesome in my book. Oregon is tied for first place in men's basketball, so be sure to head out to Matt Knight Arena, support the team in the Civil War on Sunday and all the games going forward. And hey, signing day is only a few days away. It's an awesome time to be a Duck. It looks like Oregon has yet another amazing recruiting class, so enjoy it, Duck fans. We are in the midst of a great time to be an Oregon fan. Check back daily to fishduck.com for daily articles and weekly videos. So until next time, this is Kurt saying go fish, get hooked. Go Ducks.